What's going on, everyone? Yo, let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully I will survive this stream. However, I am leaving the air conditioning on because, I mean, you know why. After the last one. Let me know if you can hear me okay. If you guys have any questions, write a capital Q in the beginning of your sentence and then ask your question so I can find it. And let me know who's in this chat. Let's get some life and energy in this chat for me, please. I'd appreciate it. We're gonna get going in like another minute or two. I got a bunch of stuff we got to get through. I got some new toys to mess with. Going a little old school, mixing with a little new school. You know. Current bitrate is lower than recommended. Oh, great. I'm already getting an error message from YouTube. Awesome. Let's just check my settings before I go bananas here. I don't know, my bitrate looks pretty good to me. YouTube sucks. All right. All right, let's kick some stuff into gear. I'm gonna take off this live, so I'm gonna hit this, bada bing. I'm gonna take off this live soon thing, bada boom, and I'm gonna do this. Hey, we're live, man. Been a minute. Welcome to the studio. If you don't know who I am, I'm Seth, Miranda, pro photographer here in New York. If you're jumping on this live, you probably already know that. But yeah, this has been a little treacherous doing live streams from here. Last time we tried it out on the balcony on a 100+ degree day with beaming sun on a 12th floor balcony, and my model is melting. My cables overheated and no longer work. My MacBook is permanently damaged from that live stream. So yeah, this is gonna be, I'm gonna be fundraising for a new MacBook. But the only things that survived were my camera and the lighting, the ProPhoto B10 that I had out there. Everything else, the extra monitor totally went down on me. Everything's gone. So this was nuts. Yeah, cables overheated on me. HDMI cables are not rated for that. They're not like data cables. They're high definition media interface. They're not really meant for this kind of stuff. At least not the ones that are for consumer use that aren't going into walls and stuff. The ones that are meant for just like connecting my PlayStation, yay. Yeah, not rated for this stuff. So it was bad out there. What's going on, Ronald, Jose? What's going on, David, Alvin, Ramo, Charles, Tyler? I know you're in there. It's been a while. Heard you mention. Yes, I will be on Gray's Westminster's live stream on Friday. I think 9:15 Eastern time. You know, they're in the UK, so our time frames are totally, I think, 5 hours apart. 6 hours, 5 hours. Either way, so Friday, yeah, I will be on there talking with Khan, which I'm super psyched on. Yeah, I never heard of that either, and it just sucks that I had to trash at least 6 HDMI cables trashed. One was okay, but I can't trust it anymore, you know, so is what it is. Yeah, Grays are good people. So I decided, Saturdays are usually the day that I try to keep open. So I'm here in the studio. Usually I book some like weird side work or try to record for you guys, but they are building an entire building across the street, driving me and Daniel crazy. So we haven't been able to record in here too well. So I figured, let me go live. I'm sorry for the echo. It's not my usual setup, but I am using my brand new Nanlite Forza 720B bicolor, and that's why you've got all this blue coming in, because I'm actually filling myself in tungsten, which is probably why the color looks a little like rich to you guys. Gavin Hoey's in my chat. As I live and breathe. What is up? Yeah, man, that live stream, you know what sucks is I did that live stream because I had the Nikon 400mm f4.5, a pre-released lens that is pretty awesome, and I want to have something kind of exclusive for my own channel for once. And what happens? I don't know. the end of the world while I'm streaming. So it just sucks. I really wish that stream held up, but it was rough. I got through it for the people that were there live. So if you were in there live, you got an exclusive. Everyone else, maybe we'll try it again with another release. Today though, a lot of things happened where I can't feel confident going into the field until I do a bunch of tests. So if you're wondering what that means, right behind me I've got 4 ProPhoto B1Xs. These are a previous generation light to the B10, B10X, B10X Plus, all those Bluetooth lights. These are just straight up, radio transmission. What happened is a couple things. They got a firmware update so that they can work with the new remote, and this is the one that's freaking me out a little bit. My Nikon Z9 also got a firmware update from 2.0 to 2.1, and I just don't like having that many variables when I'm gonna go into a paid shoot, and I have 2 jobs this week, possibly a third one, but I think that one's gonna fall through. 2 paid jobs this week. With this kit, I gotta make sure it works. So that's what we're gonna go into today. I figured I would do that while you guys can ask me anything. Also, I got some new stuff to mess with. I got these, which are brand new. So one of my favorite soft boxes of all time is the ProPhoto 1.3 by 1.3. It is a small square box that's very recessed, meaning it's flagged off from the outside, which limits the spread, and I love really flagged out soft boxes, which is funny because Daniel loves really spilly, all over the place soft boxes, and we're kind of interesting that way. Yeah, a couple of SFX jobs and another type of job that I can't talk about, but either way, I'm being paid. I don't want to have my gear fail on me for whatever reason, And this is different companies talking to each other. ProPhoto talking to Nikon, and then the older lights talking to the new remote. Who the hell knows, right? Anyway, this is the 1.3 by 2. So this means that it's basically the same box with a little bit of a longer profile, making it a little bit kind of strip box-like. And I'm a big fan of 1x3 strip boxes. So this feels like the 1.3 by 1.3 and a 1x3 softbox, and this is like right in the middle. So I'm super curious to try this out. If you guys are down, do you guys want to try out this softbox with me today? Let me know in the chat. Am I losing exposure? I feel like I'm just going to dial this a little bit. Oh, it's so precise. I love this light. I love it. Oh, God, man. Love it. I saw someone in the chat ask, they now pulled the trigger and have a subscription to Capture One. Does this take away Lightroom for them? Does that mean they don't need Lightroom anymore? I can only speak as myself saying, I don't use Lightroom at all. I actually get lost that I don't even know how to use Lightroom, to be honest with you. However, you might like the way Lightroom processes certain RAW files from certain cameras differently from Capture One. You might like the cataloging better in Lightroom more than you do in Capture One, and you might have any sort of settings, preset, color grades, anything you have saved that's meant to work in Lightroom isn't going to work in Capture One unless you find an equivalency for that. So in that instance, what I would do is leave your Lightroom subscription going for like 3 months. Just give it 3 months and see if you ever go back to it. See what your habits are. It's just like when people go, I need to buy this f1.2 lens, and then they tell me that they never shoot wide open. Well, maybe look at the rest of your shots and see how often are you shooting wide open that you want that. You know what I'm saying? So it's something like that. I've completely stopped using Lightroom since I got Capture One, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm a Capture One guy personally, and talking to other people that I work with, Capture One just is able to pull more information out of the RAW file, and I find that the colors feel truer to me when it reads RAW files. And this is coming from a guy that has to shoot Nikon, Fuji, I shoot Canon and Sony when they have me do it, and every time I'm always like, I'm always leaning into the Capture One rendition of things. So that's where I'm going with that. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me with them in the comments. I'm going to check really quickly if I have any from the sticker I put on Instagram, because I feel like I did a live Q&A walk and talk through the city the other day, and it went really well. Like people were really psyched on it and asked me to do one here. Well, I figured we'd shoot, right? We'd talk, we'd nosh a little bit, although there's no, I ate already. I ate all the nosh. We're not gonna nosh. No noshing. The only thing Lightroom does better than Photoshop integration, Capture One is a bit of a hassle. Capture One, well, when's the last time you fully used Capture One? Because unless you need what Photoshop has, Capture One has some really amazing, and I don't even use it too much, but cloning abilities, healing brush abilities. They have a lot of good built-in preset brushes in there. So you'd be surprised what's in Capture One that no one talks about because all they think it does is tether. So think about that, you know. I'm strict Capture One. Daniel demonstrates some great studio workflow. Yeah, I mean, every time I shoot, you guys see it, it's Capture One. Oh, you know what, guys? You know what I have up on my laptop? I don't know if you guys are into it. I don't know if you're interested. But the green alien that I just posted on my Instagram for a Nikon campaign that I shot, I have them all loaded here. Would you guys like me to go through them really quick before we start shooting stuff? If you do, let me know in the chat. We can go into that before I start going into shooting and setting some stuff up. I've had better luck with Capture One in low light. The files just come out cleaner. Capture One does have really good noise reduction software in it. And I've talked to Ricci about this, and he seems to be the same. So, this thing is brand new, by the way. I mean, look, plastic and instructions. Ooh, you want to see it? If you want to see the alien, type alien in the chat, and I will bring up those photos, and I'll do a little walkthrough of what that shoot was about. I had coffee somewhere. By the way, I have the worst coffee in Manhattan today. The worst. I mean, I had to go to like the shadiest bodega because nothing was open for some reason. Alien, I got aliens written all over the chat. Here we go. Charles Davis says Capture One sucks. That's kind of amazing. It just goes to show you that no matter how much you might like something, there's someone out there that it just doesn't work for. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. All right, let's go into the alien. Man, this tastes like pure dirt. You know when you see like water coming out of a planter and you go, that's what this is. All right, let's do it. So this is the alien. The alien. Although you guys aren't going to see me because I'm going to be over here. But the alien is interesting. So we actually have a tube over here. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but there is a constantly asked to activate. You haven't. All right, if your Capture One is constantly asking to activate, you have a problem somewhere because I never have that. Dan never has that. I've never seen people have that. So if you're having a problem with Capture One asking to activate, there's something on your end about that. I will say their updating is annoying. You have to actually download the whole program again every time they update it, which is so annoying. I'm with you on that one. All right, let's go back to this. So this is the alien I shot. This was all done with the Nikon Z6 II and the 24-70 f4 kit lens. That's it. There is no like, this is not Z7 II, this is not Z9, this is not some amazing lens. This was a kit right out of the box, okay? So this was meant for social media for whatever reason, and I lit this to, can I zoom in? Oh, I can, okay. I lit this to give us an eerie feeling in the eyes, but I wanted the highlights to kick off of the makeup to show how dimensional it was. So it wasn't really about connecting with the eyes as much as I just wanted them to have like a heavy presence in the image. Now surrounding her is the like a giant chamber I made out of cinefoil, and I just chopped it up and then had 11 lights around her, blitzing light through. Actually, no, not 11. I had like 9 lights around her and 2 in front, I remember, blitzing through the cinefoil, and then I fogged it up. Seth, did you get to use your Erix on the Z9? I have not used the Erix on the Z9 yet. So as you can see, like it was a whole like environment I made for her. And what I loved is her eyes, when it caught the light right, like, I mean, look at that. These aren't full resolution files, they're just previews of JPEGs. But this is, I mean, this kind of like chopped up window lighting you see right here, that's the game. I love that kind of stuff. What do you guys think? Are you into this? Now this model sat for probably 5 hours and she was hitting her limit. So I had to work fast, right? You can actually tell here that it's cinefoil, you know? But this is a really pretty low cost way to make an environment out of nowhere. I shot it in this room, right? And this is every shot, by the way. I'm not hiding anything, but you can really see. So the one problem I was having with it was it kept on looking like a junky music video to me, and I was really getting annoyed. I was going for this Geiger type feel, but then it all started falling apart when we couldn't get the rest of the tubes to really adhere to stuff, and the shot clock was going. I mean, I had to get this girl out of makeup. She wasn't feeling it. I did some atmosphere spray. I did a baseline of a haze machine, and then I pumped it up, like I retouched the haze with the atmosphere cans. You know I love anything special effect. Thanks so much, Tony, I appreciate it. Are the lights behind the foil blue? No, so they're not gelled blue. You guys know I'm a big fan of white balance effects. In fact, you're looking at a white balance effect right now. You guys, this is a tungsten light in my face. Watch, I shut this off, everything goes blue. Because I'm in iridescent white balance. I customized it though, there's a little extra green in there. Shh, my secret, shh, don't tell anybody, okay? And then there we go with a neutral light. So I'm not really into, how can I explain this? There's a big difference between gelling a light for a color and playing balancing acts with temperature. Temperature has an organic feel to the way it mixes together. Color is just splotches of color slapping each other. It doesn't have a chance to find a way to neutralize as easily as you would when you're playing temperatured games. So for me, temperature not only mixes better, but it is like a little more organic as like a source. And I think it just looks cool, man, right? Like, I don't know, I always try to find ways to get a subject to like pop out of a background without going, look, it's sharp and bright and everything else is dark, yay. Like, I always want to find ways to give you guys depth and environment that balances with the subject. And that's kind of what we're doing here in these shots here, you know? Not all these are my favorite, but this is just like every shot, you know? But you can see the environment that we're making, and you can really quickly see where you're noticing that it's cinefoil, you know what I mean? It's not like that amazing, you know? Thanks so much, Dan, I appreciate it. Ed, thanks so much. I really, really wanted lots of tubes, but we just couldn't do it. It just was running out. But look at the shape of the light hitting the folds of the makeup on her forehead. Look how deep that is. That is a legit paint job. There are these like iridescent, pearlescent highlights on the tips of all the high points of the makeup, and that is like gold to guys like me when we light it. All right? Let me see what else we got here. You know, just messing around, playing some games. And I'm not kidding you, guys, these shots, everything you're seeing here was done in 15 minutes. Yeah, it took me the day to set up. Yeah, it took 5 hours to get the makeup done. But the shots, 15 minutes. She had to get out of that makeup. She was not feeling it. Plus, we were getting to a point where the makeup took so long that parts of the makeup were starting to break down, especially on her sternum and shoulder. It starts to dry, get cracky, and all that kind of stuff. You got to get it going, you know what I mean? I had all day to set up, but you don't know what you're shooting. I mean, look at the light when it hits her eyeball. Look at that. How insane is that? You know what? I should do a video where I just like zoom into that part of her eye and zoom back out like I've been doing. You know, so when the light kicks and you really nail it, like a really hard light source that bounces in and out of an eye like that, look at that. I wish these were full resolution, but you guys get the point. Look at that. You can see the edge of her contact lens though. So this is kind of nuts. I appreciate that, Ronald. This is probably like the cleanest, I feel. You have the whole like the spherical shape of her head. You have the depth of the makeup folds. You have accurate color. You have creepiness feel. You have a sleek alien aesthetic. Like for me, this shot, it's all in there. The only thing I don't have is the whole environment that I built for this. So you can't win them all, kids. You can't. No worries, Ben. Thanks for hanging out. I mean, look at the difference in the shape of her face from this shot to this shot. Big, big difference. Once you start seeing the high points over here on the folds really kick, you know? It is a little Blade Runner. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. To me, it had a little bit of Total Recall in there. It felt a little Total Recall. I don't know. Something like that. And of course, you know I had to do the half face. I'm always doing the half face. I love the half face. You can't hate the half face, kids. You can't. Thanks so much, Timothy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if you guys want, hit like on the video montage of this on my Instagram. Always helps out. And things like that are an easy way and free way for you to help out people you follow. So don't forget to like and comment on stuff. Really, really helps out. Another side of the half face. So here you're really seeing the environment, but if you look at it's in the really lower left corner, you can actually start seeing the floor, and I was like, not having it. But I don't really edit. I really believe in the image I shot as the image I'm delivering most of the time. There's very few times you'll see me do anything to manipulate. But to have all that texture and everything going on. Also, I just want to make you guys realize I autofocus on a Z6 II worked on a face that is not really that human in a low light environment with fog in front of the glass. Think about that. So all these people that were talking trash about, oh, Nikon's garbage, here you have what you can do with a kit body and lens. Right there. That is straight out of box, I autofocus. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Here, okay, so here's where you can really see the difference in lighting here, okay? So on the left side of her face, right? Over here, you see this? See these blue highlights on the folds? So that's the light kicking from the back going underneath and up, okay? Then one frame later, look at that. No light hitting that head. See how different that is? When you put the shadow, when you were able to move the model so that there's a shadow to one side, right? Like if I'm facing this light, I turn away. I got shadow to this side if I can move this camera here. Then I'm able to fill in that shadow. Wherever there isn't light, I can then put light, right? So when I have them turn away from one of the brighter parts of that background, because keep in mind, all those lights are different intensities and different directions. I have to start feeling out where in that cinefoil are my hot points, where are like the really lower light, like shadow points if I move her. So moving her was moving the lights in this situation, right? So moving her in a position where I can get a shadow in there and then have her lean one way or another till another light hits. That's what I'm working with here, you know? And Z6 II, not even Z9. Yeah. And then, boom, this is just like a nice fill on the left side as opposed to shadow with a light ripping from the back. So it's a big difference, you know? No problem, Thomas. I appreciate, listen, I can't do this stuff unless you guys watch it and comment and stuff. And hopefully this channel will grow more, you know? So yeah, lots of fog, less fog. You know, like all this stuff is a factor that is variables that affect every single frame. You know what I mean? So you guys have to, oh yeah, I like this one actually. That just green Hulk hand like right in the frame like that, but it's not overexposed. The brightest part is still the left side of her cheek line. Like that is, forget about it. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. How you guys feeling? Is this boring? Is this not hitting it for you guys? But you see how like we have to use the lighting to sculpt the makeup? Just because the makeup is three-dimensional doesn't mean the light will keep that dimensionality. In fact, a lot of guys that shoot special effects sometimes make the light flatter to hide imperfections of the edge of the prosthetic. And I go the complete opposite way. I don't believe in flattening anything out because look how dimensional that makeup is, and you're gonna wreck it with your lighting? Get out of here. We should be doing things to optimize what's in front of our lens with the lighting, not find ways to hide everything in one shot, you know? All right, so this was just like an overall, this is the scene look. And I really wanted to use those lights to really frame the entire bone structure of my model. First of all, this girl is stunning. She is incredible. And her eyes are just like haunting, and I love it. Hopefully I can get her back in here to do a black and white portrait. I tagged her on the Instagram. What was the reaction from the customer? Honestly, you're gonna think this is crazy, but I don't know. I sent the Dropbox, they said cool, and then I never saw the photos go anywhere. This was shot, it's gotta be like 2 years ago already. Like maybe even, when did the Z6 II come out? So this was supposed to be for, being black and white with the GFX 100, yep. I really want to do black and white with this girl with the GFX so bad. It was supposed to be done for social. I didn't see these shots anywhere. So maybe they ended up somewhere else in a different region, but I didn't see them anywhere. So for all I know, these shots went nowhere. And it was, you know, it was just a job, you know. Seth, when you shoot the half face, do you shoot the whole face and crop? No. No. When I shoot a half face, am I full screen? When I shoot a half face, I stretch my lens out and I shoot to that frame. Because if you shoot like this and then crop, your depth of field is not going to be the same as if you were right there on that eye. And then this is sharp, and then this is soft, and then this is soft. Like, you want to frame that. And part of like the valor, this sounds so romanticized, but part of the valor of the half face shot is being able to get it so straight, so accurate, so composed, and just ready to rock. You know what I mean? That's part of it. Like getting that dead center line of a face as the edge of your frame. I'm telling you, you guys have seen me do this live, haven't you? Have I not done a half face live? Do we got to do a half face live today? Am I going to shoot anything today? Watch this. All right, let's do this. So yeah, I mean, you can see how up top, I really try to shape out the prosthetic, and you can even see here the reflected pearlescence of the makeup here. Cool, man. Welcome to New York. Watch your back. But you know, I really wish these tubes weren't black. I think that was a miss by, I think I even asked for black tubes, so that could have been my fault. What I should have done was like a weird, like a fogged out clear, you know? Something like that where, and maybe even a clear where we filled it with a weird liquid. You know, maybe it could have been like clear with like an antifreeze green, or maybe like something that would play off of orange, like a teal, like a weird teal. Or go completely the other option and just fill it with like orange soda. Just make it like nuts, you know? I think it would have been too distracting from the makeup, but that's just me. Yeah, so I think that's, is that it? No? No, is that it? No? Is that it? No? Yeah, it just, parts of it really looked like a music video to me, and I just wasn't really feeling it. If you ask anybody when I shot this, they were like, what's wrong? And because it just wasn't hitting the way I was thinking of it, and I knew the shot clock was running, you know? So it just turned into this whole like, what are we doing, you know? But we had to get it out. What do you think of black mist filters? Well, it depends on what you're using them for. I have black mist filters with me right now, actually. I actually like this one. You can actually see how like aggressive the folds on the top of the head like are, you know? Black mist filters are one of these things that no one used for a long time, and then a couple of fashion people used and it turned into a trend again. If you want this euphoria look, you want this dreamy aesthetic, you want to break apart the reality of how sharp the image could look, you have to use it just like you would use any other tool. It's like, I think fisheye lenses look cool, but then every shot looks the same because it's shot with a fisheye. Well, if every shot you take is with a black mist filter and it looks a little soft, like Vaseline is always on the lens, after a while I stopped connecting. You know what I mean? Like, you have to use any tool you throw into a shoot for a reason. What does that tool do? Well, it does this. Is it going to take this narrative I'm trying to spell out, this language in this sentence of a photo that I'm trying to put together, and get it across the finish line for my viewer? Just throwing it in there isn't really going to do much for you. And you could have fun with it, you know, throw a black mist filter on, see what you get out of it, and start really formulating, well, how would I use this? You know, that's what I would say about that. I find the makeup a bit too green. I think special effects artists went too green, but that's just me. Well, I actually like the green being punched out, because if it wasn't, it would have gotten lost in this whole scene. You know what I mean? Like, it really, she gave it a lot of dimension, and it really is able to separate itself from this background, and it can hold its own against all this blitzing light. So if this was shot like just straight up on like a background, maybe the green would have been too nuts. But for this environment, punching it up, I think she totally nailed it. So I got to give it to her on that. But that's my Alien. What do you guys think? If you, I feel like I'm the only one that shows special effects makeup shots anymore. But I don't know anybody that would really go out and shoot it either, because it costs a lot of money. Like that makeup could cost probably, I can't remember what our budget was. I'm trying to remember. But you know, a $1,500 makeup easy, right? And that's if you're going on a budget route. You know, you got to realize how much time goes into some things. If it's a custom piece, it's going to cost you even more. You know, these might have been ordered from a high-end company like RBFX and stuff like that. So, you know, I think the one real hard miss I had on this was that tube is black, and I wish the tube was like a foggy clear or something else. The black just got lost out there, really. It really did. It is what it is. I'd like to see cool werewolves shoot. You know, werewolves are really, really annoying to shoot. The problem with werewolves is one of the hardest things in special effects for makeup artists to do is hair effects. There's hair techs, like just doing hair. And sometimes makeup artists aren't super skilled in it, and it can look really, there's like glue everywhere instead of like really clean hair. The hairlines don't make sense. It looks too fake. It looks like there's a perfect hairline and it's combed out like a cotton ball or something. There's so many things that can go wrong with a werewolf. I've shot a few in my time, but unless it's a full-on werewolf makeup, it's so hard to make it look cool. You just kind of get the idea of, okay, cool, it's a werewolf, you know? So it's one of those things. All I need now is a smoke machine. I mean, listen, smoke machines can be very, very cheap, or you can just get some of this stuff, which will last for a few minutes, you know? Some canned aerosol. And, you know, you can mess around. The key to fog is don't let the whole shot be the fog. People, you throw these gimmicks at images and they think it's so dynamic looking when it's like, well, what the hell's the shot? A bunch of fog? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of pick and choose what you're really shooting. I think I say this all the time. At least I think I say this all the time. Do you guys know what the first decision you make as a photographer when approaching a subject? Take a wild guess. What's the first question in your head as you approach your subject to shoot? What is it? I'm going to jam some water. Do you ever have down days? The way I look at it is, look, this channel isn't at 10,000 subscribers. My Instagram has been stillborn for years. My Twitter is not really too active. The way I look at it is, what good am I doing nothing when I should really try to be relevant out there if I believe I have a point of view worth sharing? Because right now, the conversations that are being had out there in our own industry really bother me, are misguided, misinformed, and led by people that don't know any better. So I feel I have something to give. I can't give unless I keep going. So this channel costs me money, time, and sanity, but hopefully something takes off somewhere and I get a little more footing out there as a credible source for people, you know? Why am I shooting them? What am I trying to say? What kind of light? The first thing you should ask yourself when you're approaching a subject is, what is the shot and what is it for? If I have a woman in front of me, if I had her in front of me, this girl in this alien suit, and I had her as herself, Well, what am I shooting? Am I shooting a portrait for her so she can be remembered one day? Am I shooting the makeup for the makeup artist? Am I shooting the outfit for a stylist or a designer? Am I shooting the scene for a campaign? Am I shooting a character for a concept? Am I shooting an overall scene for an overall concept to be part of something else? Who's the viewer? Where is it going to be seen? Is the shot going to be this big on a phone or this big on a billboard? Do I have to make a huge impact or be subtle about it because there's going to be words that go along with it? Everything that you do should have intent. If you don't walk into your shot with intent, you're shooting blindly and then you're just trying to fix the garbage later on to put out something acceptable rather than being intentful and putting out something that hits. Once you really mean what you're saying, it really means something. It's like someone who curses all the time. When they curse, it means nothing. But the person who curses once in a blue, whoa, because they had intent behind those words. It's not just random. So if you're spraying and praying, putting shots out like crazy, it's just like cursing a lot. But that person that takes that one shot, one kill, really fine-tuned, totally curated for that specific concept, subject, that viewer, that everything, that platform, that audience, it really hits harder. So that's the first thing you've got to ask yourselves. I literally had this debate about sports photography. What makes a good editorial photo? Is the difference between someone who wants to buy and and who wants to hang it on their wall? Absolutely. When I shot for the BMX magazines, my goal, and this sounds so corny, and maybe it is corny, but my goal as a photographer when I was a kid, shooting for BMX magazines, shooting slide film in the street with like hand-me-down gear from garage sales or whatever, was to one day walk into someone's bedroom and see one of my shots on their wall from the magazine ripped out. I was killing myself to have that happen one day, and it did, and it was the biggest thing ever to me. Then a guy I was working for was, okay, that's cool, but did you get paid? So then my head got spun around of going like, well, I got the social prestige I wanted, but I'm not making a living. So where do you find the line, right? But reality is, it's easy for people to like your stuff. It's easy for your friends to tell you that you did a great job and these shots are awesome. Now get someone to really validate it by wanting it to be part of their life that doesn't know you, that wants to probably expend resources on you to have you be part of their campaign or work or something like that. You know what I mean? A nude photographer on OnlyFans, I think OnlyFans does better when the people who are on there shoot it themselves with their phone. It's more believable. It's like super amateur and you feel like you get to know them. Man, I love this light, man. I gotta tell you, I'm super psyched on this light. Seriously, why not try to become an advisor for cameramen that have a shoot difficult SFX for movies? It's not even a thing. It's not even a thing, I don't even shoot special effects at the volume that I used to do it at. So, listen, special effects is a cool thing. The one thing about shooting special effects that I take as like something I'm really glad about that I shoot special effects is I'm not one of these guys that's shooting yet another girl in an evening dress with a smoky eye and a red lip, another girl pretty looking outside, high speed sync, another shot of a girl outside in a dress, shallow depth of field. What do we need these photos for? I don't understand it. What light is it again? This is the Nanlite Forza 720B. This is a bicolored 800 watt LED, and it is only set to 34% right now, and it is battling the daylight. Do you guys get that? Like daylight's pouring into this daylight studio, and I'm exposing for this. Pretty baller. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty happy with it. And it's not a cheap light, but it is also not expensive for what it is. However, this is what I want you guys to realize is something like this is an investment. I bought this light, which is a couple grand for this, to do this, to record videos for you. So when we ask you guys to hit like or share a video around or at least hit subscribe or the bell or whatever, that's free stuff you can do when we're bleeding our wallets out to make things look better, cooler, more dynamic, more fun for you to engage with. If you guys don't support channels, you're gonna get the type of content that creators don't put much into, you know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. All right, so I've got my Nikon Z9 here, 24-120 f4 lens. You guys know I really like this lens. One thing I want to state about this lens is it has a really good close focusing distance. I'm going to say, let's see, it is in focus right here. This is how close at 120 millimeters this lens can focus. That allows that f4 to look shallow when I need to trick it to look shallow. Beautiful. I love this lens. I can't believe more companies haven't done a 24-120 focal range. It's mind-blowing to me. I don't know how Nikon's the only one that did it. Nah, Ed, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andy. Listen, I can't do this unless you guys watch. So if this chat is dead, this is a nightmare for me to do these, believe me. So thank you for joining me on this Saturday. I appreciate it. I still prefer real makeup over CGI. I could be old-fashioned. Well, I'm with you because when I see CGI, I constantly see where it doesn't match the rest of the scene. And I see lighting that doesn't really make sense to me sometimes. And practical effects, it's really there. Like the actors and talent can really interact with it. And also there's such a beauty to it. It really is. When you see like top tier practical effects, it's like they're right there in front of your face and it is amazing. That Popeye that I shot was such a cool experience just to have it in front of me, you know? So it really is. CGI is a little too clean, that's true. I'm currently reading a book by Albert Watson, and the most recent occurring phrase he writes is preparation, preparation, preparation. You know, so here's where, listen, all respect to Mr. Watson, absolutely. I'm the type of guy that will bring everything I can on earth to set and make my decisions on the spot because it has to hit me and it has to make sense with where I'm at in my head. There's days I'm in a total black and white headspace. There's days I'm in a total action movie headspace. There's days that I just want a really slow tone, chill, lo-fi vibe, and I'm getting these shots. The shots of Marissa, the black and white portraits of Marissa on my Instagram, total low key, we're here at night, no one can bother us, and I'm just photographing this beautiful girl that can give me all these expressions, right? Then there's days where I'm shooting special effects. I'm like, go, 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 bigger, crazier, louder, wider, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So I'm a big believer in being ready should you need it, but I like to be of the moment with the setup, if that makes any sense. Now, I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you. I really like the fact that even though you have the Z9, you didn't sell the 850 because it's responsible for some of your legacy shots. What am I going to get out of selling that D850? A grand, maybe? Keep in mind, I beat the hell out of my gear, too, right? This Z9, can you guys see? It's covered in blood. Can you guys see all the blood? Everything, there's blood all over, but you can only see it on, like, the white parts, like in the Z9 over here. You can kind of see it. And there's some inside here. But either way, what am I going to get for selling that D850? One, I don't want to be 100% mirrorless. I want to have optical. If I ever wanted optical, I have it. Plus I got lenses. Plus I got batteries. Plus the D850 is awesome. The D850 is awesome. And I'm not going to get a lot for it anyway. Plus, every time I look at that camera, I just remember how hard those days on set were, what I figured out. And it's funny because I think I'm going to do a video on why I wear white shirts so much. And it's kind of part the same reason I won't sell that camera. If you guys want me to do a white t-shirt video, let me know in the chat because I feel like it's going to bomb on this channel. And I'm already having too many videos not do well on this channel, believe me. I just can't do it. All right, so I will buy the D850 for 2 cups of coffee. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, so I've got to try out these lights to make sure they work legit with this new ProPhoto Connect Pro remote, which this trigger is awesome. I don't care who's crying about it in comment sections or whatever. They haven't even been using it. Me, Joe McNally, Cliff, Anders, Ab Cisse, we've all been using it, and we keep on saying like it's awesome and it's only going to keep getting better with firmware. So psyched. I also would really love to acknowledge anyone that says this is a ripoff of the Godox trigger needs to first realize that this is the layout just turned sideways from every single light they make. Are you out of your mind? If anything, ProPhoto is just so cohesive now, it's ridiculous. All right. Nikon should make a Z version of the 70-1.8. Oh, yeah, that would be really interesting. The 180 macro is a very interesting lens, and I used to shoot for a guy that would reverse mount the 180 and make it like super macro. He shot 8mm sized movie film to 35mm with a flipped around 180 macro lens. It was intense, and I learned a lot from that guy, and he's no longer with us, but what a scientist he was. And yeah, his name was Mike, and he was like, yeah, he passed away of cancer, and he left this world like an unmarked treasure. Like what that guy taught me, I never learned or heard from anybody else. It was incredible, and I really, really felt fortunate to have been on his sets and had him sit me down the few times he did, and like we would just get food and he would just tell me all this crazy stuff, and I really appreciate it. Well, I feel like we miss that part of the industry now, and I think that's why I keep doing this stuff, because I feel like I've got to give back the way those guys gave back to me. It's kind of like when a pro wrestler has to lose to let the younger talent have a career. Like The Undertaker had to lose to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania so that Brock Lesnar could be the future of the company. You know what I mean? Have you had issues with the scroll wheel? Mine is sticky. No. I have not, actually. So I traded in for another one, the new trade. It also has a sticky wheel. I don't know what you consider a sticky wheel, but I haven't had any issues, no. That's interesting. But no. Okay, so I'm going to fire this up. I'm going to grab one of these lights. You guys want to try out this new box with me? If you do, let me know in the chat. White t-shirt, yeah? You guys want to do the white t-shirt video? Hold on, let me make this chat a little bigger because you guys are kind of getting away from me here. Control plus. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to build this box really quick because I'm curious what sort of shape I get out of it. Again, this box is interesting because I usually go for the 1.3 by 1.3 square box from ProPhoto, and I like a 1x3 strip box. This is 1.3 by 2, so it's like right in the middle. It's going to be like a stubby looking strip block box, pretty much. Since you brought it up, I missed the Attitude Era, and everybody misses the Attitude Era. Are you kidding me? What we have now is, ugh. I don't even watch wrestling anymore, but I was an Undertaker kid, no shock, except for when he was a motorcycle guy. I hated the whole motorcycle, American badass guy. I hated that one. Hated that Undertaker. But then when Undertaker came back as like old man Undertaker, like just the trench coat, just the black with the hat, that's all he needed. Yeah, that was cool. Old man version of anything is awesome. Old man Logan, like Wolverine, all scarred up, the super experience, the veteran attitude, always the best version of characters. All right, so if you guys didn't know, I don't know if I showed you this, but ProPhoto boxes are color coded. So check this out. Whoop, sorry. This is blue dots on the end of these rods. By the way, you're watching me on a Z6 Gen 1 camera, and the focus is staying up on it, just so you know. And then you have all these dots, right? Well, wherever the blue dot is where this rod feeds. So if you're doing an octabox, it's green, so it's every hole is green. If you need to do a strip box, they're probably red, and red are right next to each other, right? Can you see that? Red, red. And then blue is one away from each other. So instead of you going, oh, I need to skip a socket and go to the, it's just color coded. ProPhoto, I don't know why no one else ripped this off. Totally should. Overweight Undertaker. Oh, this is way strippier than I thought it was going to be, actually. So I'm going to have to build this box. So if you guys have any questions, hit me now. And I was also a Mr. Perfect guy. I always thought Mr. Perfect was really fun to watch. He oversold everybody. Like anytime he got punched, he like flew across the room. I always thought it was really fun. Wow, this box is so brand new. It needs to get broken in. If you guys have any questions for me, just type a large Q and then type out the question so I can spot it in the chat. But other than that, keep that chat active because this is going to take me a minute to build a brand new box when nothing's broken in. Is there any innovations you'd like to see in lighting? You know, we've actually been able to get so far with lighting. Look at high-speed sync alone, right? You're able to just go past your flash sync. Meh, whatever. Doesn't even matter anymore. So maybe I would like to see more small lights that get more power. Like I wouldn't mind seeing a 250 watt second version of that A2, right? Like something with like a bunch of power that doesn't take up a lot of room. That'd be cool. And we're getting there. I'm not a big fan of LEDs that flash. Wow, this is brand new. There's stuff like totally flattened together. When doing work jobs, do you use battery only units? So honestly, I use these B1Xs more than probably anything when I'm doing like actual jobs. And I just keep swapping out the batteries throughout the day. That being said, every job, if it's an all day job, I only do one round of battery changes, and that's as a maintenance, not because they're dead, but just to get it over with. So if I were to shoot something larger scale, you know, something like a car or like a humongous dress or something, I'd want to get like 1,000 watt second plugged in light. I just want to go for it. Something I need crazy fast recycling for. I'd probably get like a pack-in head, like a Pro 11. I'd rent that or something. You know, stuff like that. What do you think about the super quick, easy softbox innovations from? Well, first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Westcott because Westcott developed the center rod thing, that whole like rapid box. Westcott developed that, and they spent all the money on R&D to build it, and then all of a sudden, Godox just put it out there. So, yeah, it's cool. My problem with any of those boxes is that this is actually one of those boxes. When you break them down, they're still like a cylinder like this, and because they're a cylinder like that, you're not able to put them inside of a backpack. With Pro Photo still doing the old school, I can literally jam this in my bag and I'm done. Like I still like having boxes like this that I build because how much I can break them down. There are the newer boxes that fold from the speed ring, but if you notice, they're limited. I mean, there's only so many designs out there for them. You cannot use a center plate if you wanted to. Man, this is a brand new box. And I have to bend things into shape because they're not broken in. But that's what I think about that. Rembrandt, what power is your light set on for what? Okay, so here's a huge misconception, that the power of your light is even a setting. Oh, how many of you guys saw my watt seconds explained live stream? Well, in that video, I tell you, it's not about what you set that light to. You have your camera set to expose your sensor. F8 at 200th, ISO 100, right? That's your exposure. All the light is doing is getting to match the exposure it needs in the camera. If I put a light to 6.5, if it's right here, or if it's 4 feet away, two different exposures. So what does setting it to 6.5 even mean? Nothing. The power on the light means nothing unless you are out of power going full power or out of power going completely dead and you need to adjust it. Other than that, your power of your light means nothing. All it's doing is fluctuating to match what you are setting your exposure for. So all these people are like, I need my remote to tell me what power it is. Okay, I'm sorry you need that. I don't know. It's nice, I guess, but you don't need it. You definitely don't need it. Yeah, the new glow powers, well, they're not really powers. The glow power pop, I think they call it. Yeah, they fold from the speed ring. What am I doing again? Oh, so I'm gonna put blue to blue. Oh wow, these rods haven't even been bent yet. This is gonna be interesting. Oh, okay. So we are looking at a one, yeah, so it's like a bigger version of the 1.3 by 1.3 I like so much. So the 1.3 is like this. It's like this. This has a little bit more coverage. I thought it was gonna be strippier. Like I thought it was gonna be like, I don't know why I thought it was gonna be like narrower, but is what it is. Let's figure it out. Did you ever actually see a Rembrandt painting? Yeah, and maybe if, you gotta realize I do live in New York where I have access to some of the best museums in the world here. And I go whenever I can. And Rembrandt is so overrated, it is ridiculous. I almost want to do a video on why I hate Rembrandt. It just drives me crazy. Rembrandt is the preset of lighting. People don't even think about what they're shooting and they say, I love Rembrandt. What do you mean you love Rembrandt? What about the subject you're shooting? What are you kidding me? Oh, just throw Rembrandt on everything? So what are you doing? Get out of here, you know? Yeah, the easy locks are basically Westcott's Rapid Box. Just joined, I have no idea what you're talking about. When it comes to lights, I think color actually is most important. Well, yeah, of course it does. And since I shoot commercial makeup, it's extremely important. So yeah, I hear you. And that's also why I shoot pro photo, because I very rarely see any sort of color variation in my lights. Because nothing's worse than getting the shot you want, but the third light is shooting warmer for some reason, and someone's gonna be like, you'll fix it in post. Okay. All right, wow, brand new, brand new. Brand new Pro Photo Diffusion. I don't know how I feel about this light, this box right now, actually. I thought it was gonna be more narrow, but I don't know, kind of let down. So the way I set up my boxes is I recess the inner diffusion like quite a bit so that I have like a flag, so it's not just spilling everywhere, but I don't know. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I feel like I do too many videos where I'm just a talking head and I'm not actually doing anything. By the way, I have 3 videos where I shoot on the street. They're gonna be on Manfrotto's YouTube channel, so be sure you are subscribed to Manfrotto's YouTube channel. Gavin has a really great video where he's shooting a friggin' owl on that channel. So do us a favor, go hit subscribe on Manfrotto, and I think in a couple weeks I have 1 of 3 videos dropping, so check that out. Do you do any product photography? Yep. It's boring, but I do it because I gotta pay for this studio somehow. Oh, no problem, Pearson. In your Pro Photo new 100 strobe video, you said it wasn't a copy of the 8100, but a natural evolution. Is the Godox Westcott thing the same thing? Here's the thing about the Godox and the Pro Photo, okay? The Godox light, if you look at it, really was a reshaped speed light that they boosted the power and found out it ran too hot and they had to put a fan in there. The Pro Photo A2 is designed with a new lens to match these lenses with thermals that can handle, doesn't need a fan, and it was meant for their system. The 2 different lights aren't against each other. You decide your lighting the second you move into a brand for the first time. I went into Pro Photo knowing exactly how much it was gonna cost me the whole way through. Every time I needed a light, I knew it was gonna be a hit in money. When they come out with a new light, I don't go, oh man, it's so expensive, the Godox is so much cheaper. I go, oh, this is the version that works and matches everything I shoot with. That's really what's up. You know, you have to understand that you made your decision on your light the second you started off in a system or not. I do not have a GFX new remote. I have a GFX old remote. I have the Air TTL over here, and I also have a A1X speed light that is for Fuji. So there's that. All right, let me just double check and make sure this is working. Yep, okay, so let me just make sure this is live. Ooh, I think I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Is it changing for you guys? Are the shots changing? The shots are changing for you guys? What painters do I like? Francis Bacon I like. You know, I actually do like Rembrandt paintings. It's just I don't like the people that harp on okay, the shots are changing. Okay, well, does that go for cameras and lenses as well? Well, so here's, I feel like we're gonna go down rabbit holes. My thing with cameras and lenses are you can totally save some money and go for a third-party lens like Sigma, Tamron, whatever, right? The problem with a third-party lens is that they will never know what the brand it's going on was intended to do further down the line. Case in point, Sony. Sony's lenses have an issue with focus breathing. The lens mount is smaller, the lenses are designed a certain way, there's focus breathing. To compensate for focus breathing, meaning the edges of the frame change as it focuses if you're into video or focus stacking or anything like that, or I hate focus breathing altogether, they have a mode in their camera that crops the image a little bit and compensates for the focus breathing. The only lenses that works with is Sony's lenses because Sigma didn't know it was going to happen, Tamron didn't know it was going to happen. It doesn't actually talk to the camera. Will there be firmware updates? I don't know. No one knows. But a first-party brand, you really are making a conscious decision for a reason, you know? That being said, I enjoy Sigma lenses. I think they're great. You know, most people tend to settle with a lighting system today based on the remote they like and then cost. I don't think anyone ever considers the remote until they look at the whole picture of the system. Also, you don't have a lot of choices these days. You know, Elinchrom isn't a major player right now. Westcott has like 3 lights out. They're developing something, but they're mainly, you know, lights that are out there in other countries, you know. You basically have Flashpoint, Godox versus Profoto as your choices, right? Middle of the road, Hanzo lighting, mainly used for industrial purposes like shooting in roller coasters and stuff. Dynalite, out of business. Speedotron, very few and far between, and they aren't a full lighting system. They don't have battery-powered monolights. They don't have speed lights. Who else? That's pretty much it, really. I mean, there's Alien B, which I can't stand. You want to talk about colors shifting everywhere and just, ugh. Alien B, that's a whole nother thing. So, you know, Broncolor. Broncolor is having a hard time, though. I mean, they're not really existent too much in North America, and if they are, they're in super high-end commercial situations. They're not really being adopted by the mass public. That being said, Broncolor is a legendary company. It's a legacy brand, you know? Ibis with what, third-party lenses? I guess so. I know you wanted to mount your D850 on a Cambo. Will you try the GFX? So I was thinking about doing that, but it turns out it's not that easy to find G-mount accessories to put onto a lens board. It's a whole thing. I will get to that. Let me mount this freaking box already. All right, let's take a light. Let me turn this thing on. And we are going to make you into Group A. Okay, Group A. Let's just set up a quick overhead, really nothing crazy. Get this out of here. So, Elinchrom used to be this monster of a company that were doing things with like the shortest flash durations and stuff. Now if you look, they really don't have that much going on out there. They have the ELC, the 125 and the 500, I think, and then they also have the Elinchrom 1, which basically has a pro photo mount on it anyway. And then they use the Odin triggers basically. So it's you know, it is what it is. All right, by the way, no one said hello to Sheila. She's been back here the whole time. You guys haven't seen her in how long? When's the last time you guys saw Sheila? Come on, guys. Come on. Say what's up to Sheila. Be cordial here. Okay. Let's see what this does. Well, it's going to have a wider pattern than I'm used to, that's for sure. But it's okay. It's a really interesting box. It's just shy of being a strip box. It's a little wider. I don't know. I don't know if I like this or not. We'll find out though. Me and Dan have known each other forever. You know, it's one of those things where we already know what each other are doing. And honestly, if it wasn't for Daniel Norton, I wouldn't even be doing this stream right now. I wouldn't even be doing anything as far as Adorama is concerned, honestly. He's the guy who pulled me in. He's like, you should start doing talks here. And I was like, what? What do you mean talks? I shoot. He's like, yeah, you can shoot and talk. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll do that, you know? All right, let me see really quick. Actually, you know what? I want to see something really, really quick. All right, so we're going to set this into, we'll do channel 7, I guess. And, oh shoot, did I just do that stupid thing again? I did. I changed the sync like an idiot. Hang on a second. Hey, there we go. Hey, hey. All right. So I got to go into control mode 1. And if I drop it down, all right, let me just double check to make sure this is doing what I want to do. The original Adorama hipster. What are you kidding me? What are you kidding me? All right, let me see. So if I go into auto, if I go into manual, if I take it down to full stop, it goes down to full stop. Okay, so it looks like the firmware from remote to trigger is working. All right, let's see if TTL works pretty clean. Oh, you know, whoa, hey, calm it down, lady, calm it down. Let's lock this down. Let me go into some sort of lighting pattern here. And let's see what we get here. Okay, so tether, let's go to the tether. What's the first thing I gotta do before I shoot a strobe? Especially when I have a giant light source in my face. Take a guess, kids. You guys got it. I know you got it. I know you got it. I know you got it. What are we gonna do first? What's the first thing we're gonna do? Come on now. It's weird. Now I don't have to use a speed light on my camera. It's kind of crazy. Black frame. Will Toft with the black frame. So we're gonna kill the strobe. I'm at f8 at 200th of a second, ISO 100, and we are gonna go for it. And that is a raw file. So there is light bleeding in. I mean, I'm looking at her. I can see her in here. Let's just see really quickly. All right, so I'm looking at the levels, not that crazy. We're probably 2 stops away, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, we're about 2 stops away. You can see the orange, right? The orange from the tungsten light that's lighting me. So I'm not too happy with this. I'm gonna go into my camera. I'm gonna go to let's see. I'm gonna go to f11, why not? I'm shooting with a giant light in my face. So this is not even in TTL. Wow, this was just a guess. So we still have details in it. Let's see what TTL does. And I'm gonna be spot metering off of her eye. This is TTL, boom. Whoa, that is clean, guys. TTL, look at that. I can see every crack in that white paint. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? That is some dumb accurate TTL. God damn. Even at the hottest point, which is right in the middle of her forehead, I'm looking at detail. Are you kidding me right now? All right, so I think this worked. I tell you what, let's see how the TTL holds down when we close our aperture to f22. Let's see what happens when we go all the way. Do we even have any power left in this light? Let's find out together. Let's see if the TTL holds. This is at f22. f22 matches, for the most part, matches f11. That's how you know TTL is on point. All right? If I open it up to f14, if it stays, we're good. f14 looks like f11. TTL is doing its job. I'm using spot metering. Damn, man, look at that. Look at that. You can see every little bit of detail in that highlight. Look at that. Are you kidding me right now? Dude. Well, I'm happy. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. No, I was kidding. Well, that just put my mind at a lot of rest because, as I said, new remote, new firmware for the light, new firmware for the Z9. So there was too many variables happening that changed overnight for me to be confident in going into a paid job with lights that I don't know aren't going to be talking to each other. So I tend to, when I use, so I do spot metering when I'm shooting a subject in a controlled, super controlled environment like this. If I start using matrix metering, it's going to start taking into account the back wall. However, I will asterisk Nikon, I'm not sure about other brands, but I know Nikon has the ability to set the matrix to face detect and understand when a face is in a scene and prioritize that exposure. So it won't be fighting so much to expose that back wall. That being said, I tend to use matrix metering more for when I'm outdoors and I'm trying to get more ambient light mixing with my strobe. If I'm in a controlled environment, the only exposure I really care about is what's hitting my subject here. Does that make sense to you guys? Sheila doesn't look at them as imperfections. She looks at them like she earned them, right? She's like, yeah. See? That's what I'm saying. She's been earning those wrinkles and cracks since the 80s. She's good. She's a tough woman, believe me. This is why Profoto Nikon are worth the cost. Yeah. You know what's even crazier, Tyler? Take a guess how long it took me to update the firmware in 4 lights. Give me your best guess. 4 lights, not 1 light. All 4 lights. Take your best guess how long it took me to update them. What kind of feature do those updates deliver? The new, excuse me. Sorry about that. It took me 3 minutes total to update 4 lights. And these aren't Bluetooth, these are with a cable. It just worked. The firmware in the newer lights, the B10s, this light, you want to hear a cool story? Joe McNally was shooting in Times Square. He let me be on set with him. And he had a bunch of B10 pluses. I updated all of his B10 pluses and his A10 speed lights in the middle of Times Square with all that signal going on with Bluetooth, and I was getting it done in 3 minutes of light. It took a minute to download and then a minute to install the firmware, but on my phone in the middle of the street, I'm updating the firmware to make sure it just works clean. That's called support. That's called pro support. I don't know. I remember when they introduced all this Bluetooth stuff and I rolled my eyes, and now I'm kind of going, oh, it's all starting to make sense. I even updated the trigger. I updated the firmware on my trigger using ProPhoto. I mean, it was just nuts, man. That being said, how long have I been live for? Over an hour. Okay, we've been going for it. But hey, I got the air conditioner on. I don't got much going on today. I got a pretty decent chat room going on. Thank you to everybody that's hitting likes, by the way. I really appreciate it. Definitely helps out this channel. Is there any questions I can get into? Anything I can do demo-wise that might help you guys out? Is there something you're still stuck on that maybe I can unstuck? Not that I know everything in the world, but I'd like to think, you know, I got some stuff. Man, this all was a whole lot of setup, but I'm glad it worked so flawless. I hope it's looking good. Does it look cool? Does it sound good? I mean, hair light positioning. That's interesting. Well, you know what? Let's open up one of these guys. So this is oh, come on. Oh, this is brand new. I hate it. I hate brand new stuff. Oh, you kidding me? Come on, ProPhoto. There we go. Wow. Wow, okay. Am I that weak? This is the box I really, really like, but we'll set it up as a hair light because why not? Thanks, man, I appreciate it. Thank you. If you are working with B1s and a B10, do you have to work in air mode 1? Yes. As soon as there's an older generation light, you cannot work in air 2. However, ProPhoto keeps saying they got something coming up. Well, Bart Skull, I tell you what, I'll do these weekly once this channel pays me enough to actually make it worth going live every week. It's got to be a job. This is New York City, by the way. I got to pay rent in a New York studio and a home. What, are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. Where are my rods? Ugh. All right, so when you guys, also, these are the rods, by the way, for this box. It's so tiny that it actually needs to be recessed in more. Let me set this box up. I gotta break these boxes in, man. Couldn't you buy a coffee? But those seem to work. Does it end up, the coffee link actually does take the least amount of, I don't know what you call it, like commission or cut or whatever. If you guys want to support that way, that's up to you. I don't come on here panhandling to you guys. You know that. It's just, you know, if you guys want to show support, that's what I put that there for. But I do not ask you guys to do that. And you know this. That's just how I've always been. Okay. And man, I haven't had to use a new box in so long. It's so weird. Shout out to Cliff Hausner for getting me these when I needed them. I'm sure you've shot other brands, but I'm curious, why do you and Dan shoot primarily Nikon over the last few years? Was it Matrix face? No, actually, so over the last 2 decades, I have had every brand camera mixed in. But the only brand that stayed through my whole career, like the one that I never got rid of, was Nikon. And a couple of the reasons. One, Nikon was leaps and bounds ahead of other brands when it came to speed lights and TTL. The other thing was their color landed more accurate. Other brands like maybe Canon, they have really beautiful color, but it isn't it isn't considered the most accurate and if you're trying to do Pantone colors for commercial, sometimes that can be a thing. Sometimes not, you know? And then the other thing was image quality in Nikon has never faltered. It's always been incredible, and their dynamic range has been incredible, and their build quality. I have never had a Nikon physically fail on me. I haven't. You know, I can't say that about every other brand. and I am hard on my gear. There's that. And then the mirrorless system, it just took a couple years for them to get it out the door for it to make sense. And you know, I can't speak for Dan, but he does seem to like the camera, so he's been sticking with it. Whoa, Ramo, thank you so much. Thank you, I really appreciate that. That's crazy, man, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, D80 isn't exactly a class that I would expect 100% perfection on. No matter what brand you're in, there's reasons things cost different tier classes, you know what I mean? All right, so now that these rods are in there, let me get a speed ring here. When's that I'm gonna start delivering to Europe? I wasn't aware they didn't deliver to Europe, to be honest with you. I also don't work for the retail end of things, so you're talking to the wrong guy. But you can hit them on Twitter. They do respond to you on Twitter. They do respond on Instagram. We have, by the way, Adorama's Discord now has customer service built into it. There's a full customer service Discord channel in there, and someone will reply to you. I think Tyler has someone in there talking to him. Oh, thanks about, yeah, the video on side busting, I was like, people are either gonna hate me for this, call me a crybaby or something, but side busting has gotta end. I am sick of it. I am sick of it. So yeah, this is the box I like a lot. It's got this really nice shape and like direct spread I really like about it. Mary Irene is a real person, and she's psyched when you guys really engage. She's awesome. And Mary Irene is another person that if she wasn't around, I wouldn't be doing videos for you guys. It's that simple. When I started doing stuff for Adorama, they had me working the events as like a tech. You know, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't recording videos or whatever. Mary Irene was the one that pulled me out of a corner and was like, you need to be in front of the camera talking about this stuff, and that's what's going on. I started with an original Canon Rebel, moved to a Nikon D300, never looked back. Well, to be fair, the Canon Rebel is a very 100% beginner series camera. That is, so if you went from a Canon Rebel to like a Canon 5D or a 90D or something, I don't even know, 6D or something, you'd probably be happy with Canon. But yeah, the Nikon D300, I had two of them, and they just worked. I mean, they just did what I needed them to do, you know? Thanks, Ronald, I appreciate that. They don't ship to Sweden. I don't know, man. I don't know where they ship. I just know that they are human and real. When Adorama isn't like a giant vending machine. Like there's you guys know who works here. You know what I mean? When you're talking about Mary Irene, you're talking about like the VP of like branding and like a vice president. You know what I mean? Like come on, man. You crazy? Ooh, virgin diffusion. Look at this. No fake blood on that diffusion. Look at that, nice and clean. But you can see how like recessed it is, right? The light won't spill everywhere. Like if it was flat, Dan likes really flat front boxes that spill. I like my light to go really directional. Mas, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Who asked about the hair light? Are you still in the chat? Hair light people? One of the keys to a hair light is letting the light spread, not letting the light hit. The D800 is a banger camera. I was on a wait list for a year before I got a D800, believe it or not. I was on a D700 for like ever. Where is the Mac fundraiser? I don't have a credit card. No, don't worry about it, it's okay. I'm gonna find a way to get a new Mac, but this laptop, I hurt one of the, apparently what happened was it was so hot out there and the sun was direct on it that it messed up one of the sensors for temperature gauging, and now it constantly thinks it's overheating. And I have like no battery life. Like I have to always plug this thing in now, which sucks when I'm out in the field. But you know, this Mac got me through the pandemic. I streamed on it every day during lockdown. I had it since the end of 2019. She served me well, you know, I just gotta find like another $4 grand for a laptop. All right, so when you guys do a hair light, a lot of you guys do this. What you want to do is this, and then let the light naturally spread to feather across the hair. That's going to do a couple things. One, it's not going to look like it's hitting, so it has more of a, oh, the hair is there and not so illuminated. It's going to be a little tough on Sheila to show it, but you'll get what I'm talking about. The other thing it does is because it goes across the hair, it actually accentuates the texture that is the hair. So, real quick, tiny story. There's a guy doing a demo. I'm not going to name names, but they're very popular on YouTube right now, and it drives me crazy. They once got in front of a crowd and told them they need like 50 speed lights to light someone's hair. And I think me and Daniel, I think it was Dan, we were like this. Because hair is reflective. You just need the light to hit right and come back to the lens. You don't need to pound the hair with light to get it to come up in exposure. That's someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. But hey, their channel is a billion times the size of mine. They must know what they're talking about. D700 is cool. The D700 is a really cool camera to buy used. If you just want to get a full frame to knock around, but the sensor technology since the D700, woo, it's like so far beyond that right now. Hang on, guys. All right. Everybody with me on the hair light? All right, so what we're gonna do, we'll take this one. I'm gonna put this in C group. And by the way, I keep saying I'm gonna go live on Adorama one of these Thursdays, because it's supposed to be like Dan, Gavin, me, but I still haven't been able to go live. Hopefully that'll happen. We'll see we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna put on this softbox. Ideally, you might want something that isn't a large modifier. Strips are so good for this. I mean, that's no secret. And then what we're gonna do, can you guys see me? So a lot of people do this. Let me zoom a little bit. I'll even crank up this light here. Crank up this light. I'll zoom a little bit. All right. So a lot of people do this and think that's how you do hair lights. The reality is you can, and it might be a style for you, but what you really want to do is something like this. I'm about a foot or two away from her, and I'm pointing more towards me, the camera, you know what I mean? And I'm going to raise this a little bit because it's a little short for her. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut off on the trigger my A light, and we're just going to look at the C light, that hair light over there. So let me crank this down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go into my C group. I'm going to turn off my A group. A. Is this still firing? No way. Is that still firing? Yeah, it's still firing. Huh. What did I do wrong here? Interesting. It's still, so maybe that's a quirk on this firmware. This light is not shutting off. Wait, is this in group A? Let me shut this off. Oh, I wonder. No. Interesting. I'm going to have to call Cliff. Why is this not shutting off this head? Let me see something. Group it. No. Interesting. So it's not shutting off this head from the remote. Why? That's interesting. Let me see. Oh, now it did. Okay. What did I do wrong? And what just happened? That's interesting. Why did that just work? What did I change? Nothing's firing, right? Turn on head C. And now just head C is firing. I turn off head C. I turn on head A. And now head A is firing. Okay, turn off head A. What did I change? That just, that's a quirk. I'm gonna have to learn what the hell just happened there. Or maybe it's a problem. Nah, I didn't change the channel. All I did was go into the menu and back out of the menu, and all of a sudden it started working. So I wonder what happened there. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, well. All right, so let's do this hair light. So let's turn on my C group. So what I'm going to do is not, if you do TTL from a light coming from behind, it's not going to be accurate. But I'm going to do it right now just to show you. It's probably going to blitz out. So let's do it. Is it talking to your phone app? Oh, I wonder, oh, maybe it is. You know what? I'm not even not going to bother. Hold on. Let's do this. All right. So we're going to go into, we're going to keep the same settings I was at, which was F14, which is a dumb setting, but that's what I'm at. So let's do it. I'm going to look at her. And am I on TTL? Now I'm on TTL, and you'll see that it'll be like a ridiculous overexposed mess. Overexposed because that's TTL going, the scene is overexposed, is too dark when it does the pre-flash, so it thinks it needs more light because the majority of the frame is dark. So I'm going to go into manual. I'm going to drop it by 3.5 stops. And now I'm going to take a look at it. See how it's nice and subtle? Now I go into my A group, turn that on, and now you're not going to really see it, but if you look at it compared to this, you have a, see right here? Whoops, not here. See right here? You have a subtle fill happening for that hair, quote unquote hair, without it looking like it's lit. I mean, that's physically white paint that isn't blowing out, but looks like it's there. And you can actually see that there's texture not overlit. This is overlit. Thanks for hanging out, Tom. Like, you see the difference in that temple on the left side? And that's what you do with a hair light. A hair light is really about letting that spread happen to then hit, not nailing the light like this. A lot of people make that mistake. It looks overlit, looks like it's getting hammered, or it doesn't even hit right and reflect back at the lens the right way. Does that make sense? Will the light from the back fool TTL on the front light? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The one thing about ProPhoto system is it actually takes into account when you TTL the ratioing of another light, believe it or not. So again, not all TTL is created equal, you know, but that absolutely will fool TTL. I mean, it's light coming at your lens. It doesn't know what you're trying to shoot. It just knows it's trying to get to an overall exposure on the frame. If the majority of the frame is dark, it's going to try to pump it full of light. And that's what backlit subjects, right? Hair lights, lighting from behind, things like that, are not really TTL friendly most of the time. Does that make sense, Will? Everybody good on that? Come on, we did that in like 2 shots. Bada bing, right? And that's how babies are born. No, I was kidding. Any questions, guys? I wonder what happened there, though. I'm going to have to mess with that. What I'm wondering is I might have to put on either all the lights or the trigger first when it comes to the older lights. The newer lights, this thing has no quirks. I've had nothing but clean experiences with the A2, A10, and B10. This is the first time with the firmware update and these lights updated that I'm using the older lights with the newer remote. And I guess that might be a quirk. I got to talk to Cliff about it. But we're still getting firmware updates for it, so who knows? Either way, I'm not going to lie to you though, I am 100% thinking about selling these lights and going for B10X pluses instead. They're light, easy to carry, efficient beam angle, up to date with all the pro photo stuff. So I don't know, I might be selling these. So if you guys are looking for some pro photos, let me know. Knowing what you know now, would you still become a photographer or would you do it different? Because my daughter wants to be a content creator. Content creation is different than being a photographer. It's that simple. And honestly, most photographers in heavy, dense parts of the industry need to become content creators. When we were photographers a decade ago, it was about ingesting the images through what? Media source, newspapers, magazines. Well, this is the media source now. This is what people most ingest from, or the web, right? Look at Sports Illustrated. They did not adapt, and this legacy pillar of the industry is gone, dude. Gone. Like, there's generations of kids coming up that never heard of Sports Illustrated. Kind of nuts, right? So what I would say is, if they're looking to get into content creation, that's a whole nother story than being a photographer. However, they have to understand that it's like a 24/7 job. If they're going to do it independently, it's up to them to build their channels. If they're doing it for a brand, they're going to be doing it for those channels themselves and have to decide if they want to build their own as well. But it doesn't stop. This world is only going to need more content. We're only going to get more technology to make it faster, easier, crazier, right? We're only going to get more platforms to share it on. So, you know, if your kid is looking to get into it, they really got to understand how much it really takes. And as much as you might hate some of the biggest channels out there, they paid their dues and did a lot of work. You may not like the content or their opinions or their demeanor, but they did a lot of work, you know? How to meter light when in high-speed sync. Well, high-speed sync is another animal, and you would need light meters that handle high-speed sync. The Sekonic, oh my God, 858, I think, does high-speed sync, because it's a pulsating flash. What you're really gonna end up doing is high-speed sync on TTL and use the camera's meter to then meter. Man, the light in the back keeps changing pretty heavy, huh? It still looks cool though, right? Come on, you guys gotta admit this looks pretty cool. Yeah, of course, man. No worries, Ed. Thanks for hanging out. My life goal to work for doesn't exist. It still hurts. Listen, Sports Illustrated just means that something else will take its place. Sports will never go away. We just have different media outlets. It's the same idea as we're not going to have these mega celebrities anymore. You know, like these, like Robert De Niro's or like Tom Cruise's or whatever. You know, Meryl Streep's. You're not going to have these iconic celebrities anymore because almost every celebrity will have their own funneled down tunnel vision style celebrity. It's kind of the same way with what we do. We're going to be working for media outlets that are just a little smaller than what the big guys were years ago, you know? But yeah, I have been live for a long time. We are going on an hour and a half here, so I didn't even realize this was going to happen. And I am losing my voice, if you guys couldn't tell. And I got to break all this down. And I got to get back to Brooklyn. So I shoot between 20 and 30 media outlets at different times of the year. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You are, listen, how many times have you guys heard the gig economy, right? You're chasing the next one. You know, I am super fortunate and super lucky to be part of Adorama. I get to do so much cool stuff just for them, and I really enjoy it. So, you know, wow, did I just lose all the sunlight out there? What just happened? Let's crank this guy up a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Let's go a little more. So, I don't know, Any last bits? If you guys haven't, please hit subscribe. I'm really trying to get to 10,000 on this channel at the very least. It is killing me trying to get there. If you can, follow me on all the social at Last Ex Witness. Join me on Friday for a live stream with Khan at Grays of Westminster. Listen, Ronald, we've talked about it. We've told them, like, you have a huge fan base in Europe. You need to go over there. So obviously, right now the world isn't in the best shape. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens. What else? I guess that's kind of it. Any last questions? Any last concerns? Did I just lose all the light back there? Look at this. You know what I'm going to do? Here's ratios. This light is going to get overexposed if I change my camera settings for the back there. So what do? I match the exposure back there by turning this down, and then I open this up, and then I give it a little bit of the ISO, and now we match out there, and look, we did a ratio together. Hey! I changed the settings to get more light in the camera. There's more light coming from the outside now into the camera, and because this was going to overexpose, we lowered this exposure. So now I went from 34% to 11.7% on this light. There you go, guys. What's the Kelvin temperature your camera is set for? It is on incandescent with some green added in there. I custom did this one. No sleep till Brooklyn is right. All right, well, I'm glad you guys liked this stream. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I figured I need to make up for the last stream I did, and I'm trying to keep this channel alive with some resuscitation, you know? Do me a favor, if you're watching this after the fact, drop a comment, hit like, subscribe, tell some friends about this channel, join the Discord, the link is down below. Everybody in this chat right now is in the Discord. You can share some work, troubleshoot for each other, a lot of cool people. Join the Discord, check me out on Twitter, Last Ex Witness on everything. I really appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna go find some actual food, pack this down, and go try to have a Saturday night. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. See what's going on. It's New York. There's always something going on. Anyway, guys, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Later.